Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with Rostermania just around the corner, Octane's been talking about some of the previous Rostermania periods where some teams could have formed but didn't end up happening in the end. 100 Thieves back in Black Ops 4 were looking to get Simp on their team for a couple of very interesting reasons it didn't happen. What a change that could have been to the trajectory of Call of Duty Esports. And tweet your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, wanted to start off with some Lion Man cards. Stage 5 cards from 3 more teams he brings out yesterday. This is on the subliner side, as you can see right here. So, of course, didn't have Clayster for, well, this run, as you can see. Diamondcon, Asim, Hydra, and Mac. And Mac, I mean, Hydra especially was an absolute monster. If Mac can get to some of the form that he had earlier this season, I think this team can be a threat at champs. But they're going to need all cylinders to fire with Clayster now back into that team. If they want to make a run, it's not going to be so easy for them. This is the Seattle Surge. I think a Classic came back in reply and said, look, that must be some online stuff right here, because I could not buy a kill online. But I think Lion Man said after the season concludes, he's going to do some specific cards just for LAN for the entire season, from yeah, including Stage 4, Stage 5, and the major, of course, for the World Championships. So, yeah, that'd be very exciting to see, indeed. You've also got the Los Angeles Thieves side of things. John not looking too pretty, Slasher not looking too pretty as well right here in terms of the statistical side of things. They're going to need to turn up pretty massively. But to be fair, this is just the online stuff, because as Slasher says right here in reply, that is online for sure. You were putting up 1.3s with me, Liddy. What is this about? I was on LAN with you. You know how different that is. No different now either. This says right here he has a 1.21 KD, I think, so far since he's returned to LAN environment. Online, of course, a very different thing. Is that a mental thing? Is that, yeah, what exactly is he responsible for that? Does LAN have that much of a difference? I suppose it does, maybe to some players. And of course, the World Championship, thankfully, will still be on LAN, as we found out just a few days ago. So, this is the video that Octane comes out with a couple of days ago now. Thought it was a very interesting one. The craziest COD rosters that almost happened. The final one he talks about in the video talks a bit about like the Seattle Surge lineup going into Modern Warfare and the difficulties that they had. They were trying to get Envoy and Arcitys onto that team alongside Slacked, Enable, and Octane, and that fell through because Huntsman came onto the scene last minute. Therefore, they had to just pick up some scraps at the end of the day. The one I thought was particularly interesting, though, was the Black Ops 4 discussion way back in the day for 100 Thieves. Now, the 100 Thieves squad at the start of Black Ops 4, if you guys aren't familiar with it, was not exactly a great team. As you can see right here, they just about qualified for the Pro League, but it was not easy for them at all. We see right here, Las Vegas Open, this is the team of Kenny, FeLo, rest in peace, Octane, Slasher, and Enable, and well, they went into, well, honestly, on paper, this team looks so good, but it didn't work out. There was some friction between FeLo and the rest of the guys, and they decided in the end, okay, they're going to move FeLo, they're going to bring Kenny onto the AR role, because he was using an SMG at a time and not looking too strong, and they're going to bring in someone who can be their, you know, grapple Sorg, which ended up being Priestahh. So Octane goes on to discuss that they got particularly lucky, the fact that Priestahh, who was on FaZe at the time, didn't qualify for the Pro League on you know, it was just FaZe Clan, I'm pretty sure it was called at the time, and Priestahh and Crowder were then brought on loan to 100 Thieves for the rest of the season, because and eventually FaZe found their way back into the league because they bought out a spot or something weird happened like that. But regardless, 100 Thieves were not good early on, and they wanted to make some sort of change. So as soon as they qualified for the league, they were considering options. Who exactly did they bring in for FeLo? They wanted someone who could run an SMG, and they were looking at some players specifically. They were looking at Priestahh, which eventually happened. They were looking at Dylan Cod, which, well, could have happened, right? Who was a phenomenal player that season on Reciprocity when he joined them. Early on in the season, he was on that Team Sween squad that maybe took the, I think they actually, yeah, they beat these guys. He beat these guys at the Pro League qualifier, even though 100 Thieves still ended up qualifying for the league just about. And the other player they were looking at was none other than Simp the Sick Joke. Octane goes on to explain the difficulty they would have had actually getting him signed for a few different reasons, why they initially wanted him, but also why they were going to pass on him, because they thought that maybe he wasn't the player that he was well hyped up to be, at least at the time, and it was of course proved to be over, well, the last couple of seasons of competitive Call of Duty.
And when we dropped Jay, we had two options. We had three options. One was going to be Dylan Cod. So if we didn't get Preston off of FaZe because they didn't qualify, we were going to get Dylan Cod. And number two was wait it out a little bit and get Simp. I know what you guys are thinking. Give me a minute to explain. So we dropped Jay. We knew we needed a sub. So we picked up Preston because thank God those motherfuckers didn't qualify. So if we didn't get Preston, we would have got Dylan Cod from Team Sween. They body bag toe tagged us at Vegas. We saw that kid's potential. He had been playing super well previous to Black Ops 4 as well. He was just a super high energy, fast paced in-your-face sub. You guys all know Dylan and how incredible his Black Ops 4 season was. So that was option number one. Option number two was Simp, and that wasn't able to happen until London, which you guys are well aware. He didn't turn 18. But we kind of were like, we don't know, like, is Simp that good? He's, you know, he seems like more of a baity kill horse sub, and we need something that's a little more fast paced. in hindsight, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. E United, his buyout was like a fucking $600,000 or some insane shit. I've had some struggles with United letting players go, the Pierce thing I mentioned earlier in the video, but it wouldn't have happened anyway. But if it could have happened, we would have passed. So that's kind of unfortunate. I really am not good at. Leave me alone.
So this is what was going on with Simp at the time. So in 2017, they established this cadet roster on E United. It was Simp, it was ILLey, it was Cellium, it was Turn Up Too Easy, and that was kind of what was going on there. And the idea was, by the time they turned 18, they could bring some of these guys up into the pro side of things, and did a phenomenal job with it, no doubt. So they brought Simp up to the pro team. Eventually, he came into the squad. And as Octane was kind of saying, he wouldn't have been 18 by the time they wanted to bring him in. They'd have had to have a replacement for a couple of months, but they kind of wanted Simp, and then they kind of convinced themselves, okay, yeah, is this guy actually that good? Like, is he really worth it? Is he actually just, is he just going to play for kills and stuff? Is he a bit too baity as an SMG player? Like, does he really have what it takes to actually, be a great force at the pro level? Of course, over time kind of proved that was the case. Not saying that, okay, maybe looking back, could have made some sort of mistake, but probably wouldn't have happened regardless, so it doesn't really matter too much. But also the fact that he had a $600,000 buyout from E United, thought that was pretty remarkable, or something in that ballpark. E United were locking on to this guy, no doubt. He was going to be on their team, and well, you're not going to get him off this team for anywhere near. Well, honestly, that money's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know what the buy would have been for Huke, for example, but Simp, like 600k, that's nothing too easy to magic up, no doubt about that one. So of course, like, 100 Thieves go on, they get Priestahh in their team, they obviously become a phenomenal squad, right? But could you imagine what this team could have been like with Simp? At the same time, like, Priestahh did play a different role to what Simp would have played on the team. Would Simp have been so good in that kind of grapple sword role? I'm pretty sure Simp could do any role, to be honest. I wouldn't put it past him. But clearly, Priestahh was a very valuable piece to this squad. Eventually, FeLo moves out of the team, as you can see, to a substitute role. Priestahh comes in. This is in January here, and therefore they make that move and make it work to pretty phenomenal effect when they won London. They then won, of course, Anaheim as well just after that. But well, during those events, this is what was going on at the time. Simp was absolutely dominating. You can see right here, this is the grand finals between United and 100 Thieves, and Simp was just doing some absolutely phenomenal things on the main stage, and probably Octane's looking across the stage thinking, damn, if we'd have maybe things could have gone differently, we could have got this guy into our team. And that's really the question mark to me. Okay, this is London, of course. Like, what would have happened with the Foster's guy? But my question is, what would have happened to Call of Duty's future if he had ended up joining the 100 Thieves squad at the time? Because, of course, Simp and aBeZy became the duo on the United squad. I think aBeZy was also meant to go to FaZe. There was some weird stuff that happened there. And now those two, the Tiny Terrors, don't seem like they're going to ever separate. Would they have ever even teamed up, right? If he'd have been on 100 Thieves, that being Simp, like, would he have ever teamed with aBeZy? Would that have quite happened in the same way? You don't really know. And therefore, like, things could be so different in Call of Duty history, right? Where would Simp be? Like, I mean, what a crazy hit marker that was. And then you've also got this clip right up against Eunice as it was at the time. Simp completely dominating in the Black Ops 4 days with the sniper owls. We talked yesterday about the snipers and how fun that would have been, right, if they do indeed make a return to the World Championship. And well, this is, of course, was what United did the rest of that season. So you can see right here, when Simp joins this squad initially for London, they come second. Then at Anaheim, they come top 6. And then after that, they really turn things around and hit another gear and win the playoffs in the World Championship. But Simp, like, when he arrived at London, like, he was only 18 at the time. He'd just come on the scene. This was his first event, and he, like, completely dominated this entire event. Like, one of the most incredible rookie debuts you were going to see. As soon as he arrives on the scene, doesn't win the thing in the end. 100 Thieves take it off him. So, but still, if Simp was on the other side of that stage, maybe that team would have been even more dominant. Who really knows? And then, yeah, what would the future have been with aBeZy and Simp right going forwards? Because as Simp says right here not too long ago now, if I don't retire with aBeZy as my duo, something went seriously wrong. But, would they have ever even teamed up if it would have been possible to get him onto 100 Thieves? But clearly, with that buyout and with the guys maybe not even rating him too much as a player at the time, or at least, like, kind of, well, questioning whether he was really going to be that good, whether that would have happened, it still is a question in a parallel universe, no doubt. Wanted to finish off with this. So a few days ago now, on this day, 11th of August, Complexity won UMG Atlanta 2013, their third event win at the Black Ops 2 season. Crimsix is going absolutely rogue, as he likes to do nowadays as well. Mixed Rex, the coach, of course, Clayster on the left-hand side, TP and X, of course, won at this tournament as well. But, well, this I thought was pretty funny, to be honest, because Clayster quote tweets this, won $1,875 pre-tax for an absolute grueler of a tourney that went until 3 a.m. on a Sunday. And it's kind of funny that this has sparked up like almost like a 10-year-old beef, like a decade-old beef. As Jacob says right here, compare that to this type of stuff. Nameless comes in the reply, and then all this like kind of, well, weird like kind of beef hits off in a way. No, you lost to my team in the winners finals of the Holiday Classic 1, then went and cried to the admins to get me and my team banned because you couldn't beat us. You were account recovering, that was a clear violation of the rules. Then we went ahead and won another one after. Clear clear violation, says Clayster. Guy had a ringer on his team, lol, absolute scum. Only because Moti said he had to go to anger management and just wasn't going to show up. What are we supposed to do? Forfeit the thing like we brought someone else into our team? Just outing him on the timeline for 12-year-old beef? Damn, Tyler, yes, brother, you got to hold that L. And well, this is kind of honestly like funny stuff in a reply over here. I still stand by my statement he was the best COD 4 player, all this type of stuff. So yes, Nameless versus Clayster. Apparently there was some beef going on back in the day where Nameless tried to get these guys forfeited from their tournament to like cry to the admins or whatever as Clayster describes it. And well, still maybe some beef that hasn't yet been aired, I'm sure, behind the scenes from other Call of Duty titles and eras as well. But very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Like you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I'm growing the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
They're all coming to A as well. Uh-oh.
Oh! Yes! Oh my God! Oh! Do it! Blow them out of the map! Send it to control! You will never see a final round of search and destroy in your life! Uh-oh. Where is he?